If BNB is used to test the support many times, will Binance have an accident? If you are interested in this issue, please follow me to read it. You are very welcome to use the Bybit link below. Now, as long as you deposit $100 in KYC, you will be given 1,000 immediately Bitcoin contract positions worth $. And this is a real contract position. That is, if you make money, you can directly withdraw the coins. Let's go back to the BNB board. In fact, I have been watching BNB recently. After all, Binance is still at present the largest exchange in the world. Currently, BNB is its platform currency. He has come to test our support since the bull market many times. Now we are close to this support again. You can find it in these positions. We've all come to test it. And he's been a solid support in the past. As soon as we hit this price, we'll bounce back. But will we break at this position? You can see that if we break, wherein he didn't have any accumulation of chips below. Because we were in the context of a bull market when we skyrocketed and broke. And he suddenly rose a lot. Okay. But if we fall below the support, then we are also in the corresponding price range, which is around 200 and then until the price range of 45 yuan. If it falls below, I believe it will run very fast. Because we don't have any accumulation of chips. Until we are around 45 yuan. And then down to maybe 40 yuan. He will have some previous chips, so that he has the opportunity to produce some supporting effects. In fact, we can refer to the world's second largest exchange before the world's number one FTT. The platform currency of the second largest exchange FTX. Of course, the two tokens are incomparable. And some places are incomparable. After all, the events of FTX at that time did not match the current situation of Binance. But we can still say first. Let's take a look. Because if we talk about what happens next, we can also refer to it for reference. If this position breaks down, then let's take a look at FTT. In fact, FTT did not have any problems before its platform currency plummeted. Even if it happened, there is no problem with many things. When there is a real crisis, there is a run, a crisis, and finally bankruptcy. The most important fuse is FTT. It fell below its long-standing support. Of course, this chart is not the original chart of FTX. Because FTX went bankrupt. It is in the I can't find the chart of the FTX exchange on the trading volume because it has been stopped now. But the rise of FTX, especially the section that was not drawn on the previous trading volume, is actually very similar to the rise of BNB. Very similar, I can only say very, very similar. If you have seen his rising chart, it is really very similar. Then when we broke down, he had a very, very violent decline, which eventually led to a run on FTX. And then there is a lot of turmoil in the currency circle. And of course the market will also be affected. I believe everyone can still vividly remember it. But FTX has embezzled user funds. I believe this is a very wrong thing because you have embezzled and the users are running. Sometimes there will be problems, or even suspend withdrawals. In the end, people will not be able to withdraw money. But in fact, we all think that it is a safe place, such as banks. They will also embezzle users' assets for other purposes. That is, to do some comparisons. For low-risk investment or asset allocation. Of course FTX also wants to make money. Because its depositors and users have put so much money in it. It will definitely be positive for him to make some allocations and earn some income. Of course he shouldn't do this. But for example, banks do this, or USDT issuers do the same. They turn US dollars into UNET. And these US dollars are definitely not stored in the form of cash. It is possible. Therefore, US Treasury bonds with relatively low risk can basically be regarded as risk-free. At least short-term US Treasury bonds are almost risk-free. After all, the possibility of the United States disappearing in the short term, or the possibility of not being able to pay this Treasury bond is very small. Unless the United States disappears, the probability is very small. If Binance has done something similar, even if he only takes a small part of the assets to make relevant allocations, or they have encountered liquidity under the crisis situation, I believe that there is still the possibility of something happening. So I think this price is very, very critical. If it is broken here, I think it will cause a run and then panic. And Binance may also appear. The problem is that I personally have not put any money in the exchange. If I make a contract, I put some money in Bybit and the rest is stored in other forms. For example, I think it is safer, such as a cold wallet or a cold wallet. Put a little money in each of the relatively large banks. After all, after the collapse of FTX, everyone has realized the extent of its risks. Will I be in this support position? Indeed, let's look at it on a weekly basis. He is indeed on a support. This is true. Do we want to buy bottoms on this support? In fact, we can take a look at Dogecoin. I believe that if we talk about the hottest currency in the last round of bull market, it must be Dogecoin. Because of Dogecoin, the increase it has shown is really very, very, very incredible. In fact, Dogecoin existed very early. When I first entered the currency circle, I actually had Dogecoin. You can find it last time. Is it true that buying the bottom during a bear market is the way to catch the biggest wave? In fact, this is not the case. But after our bull market has started for a while, or even in the middle and late stages of the bull market, the altcoins will start to skyrocket. When the altcoins start to skyrocket, it's time to buy altcoins. Because its growth is concentrated in the middle and late stages of the bull market. Wait until it shows a little signal. Then we will have time to intervene. Especially the next round will be very hot. I believe that it is very, very possible that we can't find it on the market value rankings, like Dogecoin. I think it is a good example. Although Dogecoin used to be at the top of the market value, I believe it can be found. But when it soars, we can see that we are in this position. I believe that the moment when we usher in a really crazy increase is the craziest period. The beginning of this period is in 2021. January 25th is the week at the end of January. Because we are looking at the weekly line. So we can look at the week at the end of January for Bitcoin. What is the market in the week at the end of January 2021? It's probably here. You can find that we reached the highest point, which is 40,000. It has probably gone. The best increasing in this round of bull market, the sweetest increase. About 2/3 to 3/4 of this distance. You can actually find that it is basically in the middle and late stages of the bull market. So in the bear market, if it was me, I would not be affiliated with altcoins because it is still very early. When it is going to break out, it will be in the middle and late stages of the bull market. We haven't even seen the bull market. At least we haven't seen the bull market after halving. We still have a little more than half a year before the halving period. So I personally won't in the bear market, the altcoins should be deployed first. Because I think the next round of bull market will really explode altcoins. And it is very likely that they will not beta altcoins that are seen on the table now, just like Pepe, which was not on the ranking list before. So we take a look at Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin, you can find that we have not seen such a decent weekly volume from the weekly line. For example, we have not seen its volume in this wave of decline in this position. It can still be the same as the amount generated during the shock time. At least we can see it from the weekly line. It is also very likely that we did not fall until the end of this week. So it has no time to accumulate. But you can see our second it doesn't have a lot of energy. So you can find that when we look at the weekly line and we want to confirm the trend, you can find that it will produce a very large amount of energy at this level. Of course, if we don't pull us away if we can't see it well, let's pull it apart. For example, in this position, our wave of bulls also has this mainstay. So we can confirm its rise. And our decline has not yet been seen. So it is possible to adjust. It is absolutely possible to adjust. It may be just an adjustment to our previous rise. And it will continue to rise after that. It is definitely possible, that is, our rise is not over yet. And you can look at our high and low, look at the position of the low point, the high point. The low point, the high point, the low point, and the high point. So in fact, the bull trend is still no problem. It is correct to draw this way. If we want to destroy the previous low point, it is very important for the bulls of this week. If you want to break the 24750 position, you must break it. I believe that if this place breaks, it is likely to be the last straw that overwhelms the bulls. If you exhaust your strength, it will turn into a state of exhaustion. So this position and this price, I personally prefer we will pay attention. But we have to wait for the bullish trend. I think we will go again at least for the same time as the one above us. We have gone above us for about 58 days, about 2 months. And we will only catch 2 months. Well, in these 2 months, if we can still trade for 2 months below and do not fall below the previous low, or if we do not fall below 24750, then I think the bulls have a chance and they have a chance. Judging from the current situation, even if he has risen, I think it is still necessary to go short in the end. Even if he rebounds, there is a certain increase to 28,000 or more than 24,000. I believe he will not continue to go long. This possibility is only possible unless we really have the time to come out. At present, my personal preference is to break through directly from this position. It will be more difficult to do. Because after all, we are in this position and the price is not high. Well, if it is open. But if it really breaks down, I will chase it. If I see it, I will definitely chase it. But it will be more difficult to chase it in places like this. After all, you also know that it is in the early morning of our East 8th District. The early morning is really difficult. At that time, most people are still sleeping. If we talk about rebounding, I will find a position for rebounding and then go short. This is the current plan. If we cut the level, we can see it. The current trend is really very, very, very weak. I think the previous high at this position can indicate whether we will start a wave of rebound. If we break through 26,800, then I think we will start a more decent one. It is definitely no problem to rebound to at least 27,000. But it seems to be very weak at the moment. Because we are all below the central axis. You can also find that we are in the entire shock zone. And we can't even cross 26,260,000. With the pressure of 1,200. The current trend is really weak, very weak, very weak. And there is even a possibility of breaking down at any time. Okay, so I'm actually ready for it. If it really breaks down, I will come to eat. This paragraph is very good. Thank you very much, everyone is very welcome. You can like my video, subscribe and share. Turn on the little bell is my biggest support. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.